he becomes a pitiful semblance of a beast, unworthy of a place among humanity or in the heart of the Emperor. Grant him a swift death and oblivion. As the officials of the Administratum believe, service to the Imperium is not just an honorable and noble endeavor. It is the sacred duty of every citizen to give everything they have for the glory of the Emperor and all of mankind. However, it is important to remember that the vast majority of Imperial citizens are ordinary people. They are not the perfect warriors of the Astartes, nor the fanatical zealots of the Ecclesiarchy, nor followers of the cult Mechanicus, and certainly not the deranged bandits and mutants from the lower levels of hive cities. They are simply average individuals striving to survive and do their utmost. Naturally, every inhabitant of the Imperium is imbued from birth with the belief in the superiority of their race and the infallibility of imperial truths. Yet, even a fanatic finds it hard to escape the objective and cruel reality, especially when their occupation is incredibly arduous and horrific, even by the standards of a dark, distant future. However, before you learn about the most detestable forms of employment in the 41st millennium, it is necessary to understand one simple fact. The Imperium essentially is a union of countless planets, each at varying levels of development and living standard. Despite most worlds having a unified economic system and a standard currency in circulation, there exist planets whose inhabitants are unaware of the possibility of space travel. Thus, it becomes difficult to objectively determine which job is worse or better across the Imperium. Furthermore, it's essential to remember that on most worlds, the concept of a job market, where an individual first undergoes basic training, then chooses a specialty, and works based on their professional skills, does not exist. In the grand scheme of the Imperium, a person is but a minor cog in a vast machine, expected to do only what is required of them. Also, remember that on most planets, in addition to the standard imperial currency, there exists a local currency that can lose all its value in another hive city, let alone on other planets or star systems. Typically, this currency acts like corporate money, where the employer pays the employee in a currency that is valid only within the corporation, and which can be used to buy the company's own products. As a result, the majority of Hive City residents work practically for free. Therefore, the main criterion for selecting the worst types of employment in the Imperium is not so much the amount of potential pension savings, but rather your chances of surviving to pension age. And topping our list, though not a profession in the sense we are accustomed to, for the average inhabitant of the Imperium, especially those who have lost their ability to work for any reason, the most likely fate is to be transformed into a servitor. A servitor is a machine crafted from a human body, a common technology in the Warhammer 4000 setting. The ideology of the Adeptus Mechanicus strictly forbids the creation of artificial intelligence, and the state of technology in the setting limits the creation of complex computer systems. Therefore, mechanisms for tasks requiring more than mere mechanical repetition often incorporate the human nervous system. Criminals are typically used as raw materials for servitors. However, the overall cruelty of the universe and the cold, rational approach of the tech priests significantly broaden these categories. On Forge worlds, for example, any worker displaying inefficiencies, such as those injured or aged, can be repurposed into a servitor. Servitors undergo lobotomy, and their nervous systems are modified. The same is true for their bodies. As a rule, each servitor is adapted for a relatively narrow task. Those servitors whose activities are sufficiently diverse require constant oversight by the tech priests. Otherwise, they risk becoming catatonic. Typical activities for servitors include carrying loads, conveyor and industrial operations, and in the case of armed models, security. Servitors can also be integrated into more complex mechanisms, for example, as part of a turret targeting system. Servitors are not just a vital necessity for the Imperium's existence, they are also an integral element of the universe's grim setting. It's important to remember the mind-wiping procedure, as errors during its execution can lead to various consequences. A servitor lost in the abandoned sections of a spaceship or wandering the labyrinthine corridors of a hive city, muttering meaningless gibberish composed of fragments of human memory and consciousness from its former life, is a common sight. Moreover, there have been instances where no such procedure was carried out in creating a servitor, leaving the person devoid of control over their own body, fully aware of who they were and fully conscious of what they have become now. However, despite the horror of the servitor's plight, those who avoid such a fate feel only marginally better. The hive cities and the Imperium's war machine continuously require resources and products supplied by the manufactorums, and the Imperial government cares little about how these needs are met. This inevitably led to absolutely intolerable working conditions, toxic production environments, handling hazardous materials, 20-hour work shifts, all with absolutely no pay and living conditions. Have you ever thought about how and with what the warp engines of Imperial ships are fueled? The description of the refueling process resembles more a funeral ritual. The engine refueling personnel responsible for the warp drive's maintenance undertake a task fraught with immense danger and complexity. Clad in protective suits woven from metallic threads, shielded against the harshest of external conditions, they carry heavy metal containers filled with perilous substances necessary for the warp engine's operation. Their march towards the refueling point resembles a funeral procession, a grim testament to the risks involved. Inside these containers lies material so volatile that the flesh beneath the suits can begin to evaporate from mere proximity. The tech priests overseeing the process regard it as one of the most hazardous operations aboard the ship, second only in danger to the perils of space combat itself. As the crew members draw closer to the refueling station, their bodies undergo unbearable stresses, beginning to disintegrate. Only through a potent cocktail of chemicals laden with pain suppressors can they continue their grim task. Yet despite these precautions, those who reach the refueling point are barely alive, their bodies almost failing them. At the moment the container is secured into the refueling slot, the very hands that carried it may cease to exist, sacrificed to the insatiable demands of warp travel. This solemn duty underscores the dark majesty of the Imperium's technological prowess, a stark reminder of the price paid for dominion over the stars. If fate has dealt you the precarious hand of being born a psycher, yet you've managed to evade the attention of heretical cults, retain your sanity amidst the incessant cacophony of voices in your mind, and not become an unwitting gateway for the daemons of chaos into the material realm, rest assured, your anonymity won't last. Specially trained psycher hunters with skills honed through rigorous training and an unwavering dedication to the Imperium will eventually track you down. These hunters are relentless, their sole purpose to scour the galaxy for beings like you, and once found, you'll be shackled and sent aboard a black ship, a specialized spacefaring prison designed to contain and transport psychers to their fate. Upon arrival, your abilities will be meticulously assessed. If fortune smiles upon you and you are deemed strong enough to serve the Imperium, yet not so potent as to warrant immediate extermination, you will be whisked away for specialized training. As an astropath, you'll relay the Imperium's most guarded secrets across the vast emptiness of space, your mind a conduit for messages that ordinary technology cannot convey over such distances. If you're particularly fortunate, your talents might even catch the eye of the Inquisition, where your skills could be put to use in their ceaseless war against heresy, xenos, and the corruption of chaos. To serve in such a capacity is to hold a position of considerable influence and power, a far cry from the grim fate that awaits those deemed insufficient. For those whose psychic strength is found wanting, a grim destiny as fuel for the Emperor's Astronomicon awaits. They will be taken to Terra, humanity's cradle and the throne of the God Emperor, where their bodies and souls will be consumed in the psychic inferno that powers the Astronomicon's beacon. This light, vital for the navigators who guide the Imperium's ships through the warp, demands a constant sacrifice. The psychic flames devour their essence, a necessary offering to maintain the beacon that lights the path through the Immaterium's tumultuous seas. In the grand scheme of the Imperium's ceaseless battle for survival in a galaxy teeming with threats, the fate of individual psychers seems a small price to pay. Yet, each psycher's journey, from discovery to service or sacrifice, underscores the Imperium's precarious balance between utilizing and controlling the warp's volatile power. Whether as guardians of its secrets, conduits for its messages, or fuel for its lighthouse, psychers play a critical role in the Imperium's dominance. Their sacrifice, whether in service or in death, ensures the continued strength and illumination of humanity's empire among the stars, a testament to the grim reality of survival in the 41st millennium. Report concluded. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please support us with a like and subscribe. Your comments are our inspiration, so don't hesitate to share your thoughts and ideas for future episodes. Share this video with your comrades on social media so they can join our ranks too. Your suggestions and questions are incredibly important to us. Leave them below as we're always eager to engage in conversation.